What is this worth, this piece of green paper? We trust it, we work for it, we save it, we measure our wealth in it. But what if I told you that your trust is misplaced? What if I told you that the very foundation of our financial system is cracking beneath our feet? This is not a theoretical exercise, this is happening now. The US dollar has just broken. And the scariest part, nobody in the mainstream media is talking about it. They are distracting you with politics, with celebrities, with the latest viral scandal, and all the while your wealth is being silently stolen. For decades, the US dollar has been king, the world's reserve currency, the safe haven in times of crisis. Other countries held dollars. International trade was conducted in dollars. Oil was priced in dollars. This system, known as the petrodollar system, gave the United States immense power and privilege. We could print money to pay our debts, and the rest of the world was forced to absorb it. But that reign is coming to an end. And the break is not a single dramatic event, it is a death by 1,000 cuts. A slow, painful demise that is accelerating at an alarming rate. Look at this. In the year 2000, nearly 73% of all foreign central bank reserves were held in US dollars. Today, that number has plummeted to under 58%. It's the lowest level in almost 30 years. Countries are dumping the dollar. They are diversifying into other currencies like the euro, the Chinese yuan, and into gold. Why? Because they have lost faith in our ability to manage our own house. They have watched us print trillions of dollars out of thin air. They have watched our national debt explode to over $34 trillion. They know that a country that abuses its currency will eventually destroy it, and they don't want to go down with the ship. And then there is the most powerful weapon in our financial arsenal: sanctions. We have used the dollar's dominance to punish our enemies. We froze Russia's assets. We cut Iran off from the global financial system. We thought this made us strong, but in reality, it accelerated our downfall. Other countries, including our allies, saw how vulnerable they were, and they began to look for alternatives. Enter the BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, now expanded to include Iran, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Egypt. This bloc of nations is actively creating an alternative financial system, one that does not rely on the dollar. They are trading with each other in their own currencies. They are planning for a new reserve currency backed by commodities like gold and oil. This is not a conspiracy theory, this is real. In August 2023, India bought oil from the UAE using its own currency, the rupee, for the first time. China and Brazil have struck a deal to trade directly in their own currencies, bypassing the dollar completely. Saudi Arabia, the linchpin of the petrodollar system for 50 years, is now openly considering selling oil in other currencies. Each one of these deals is a nail in the dollar's coffin. Every transaction that does not use the dollar reduces the demand for it. And when demand falls, so does its value. What does this mean for you? It means that everything you import is going to get more expensive. The gas you put in your car, the food you buy at the grocery store, the clothes you wear, everything. Your savings, your pension fund, your 401k, all denominated in dollars, will be worth less, much less. It is a stealth inflation, a hidden tax that erodes your purchasing power day by day. The media won't tell you this. They will blame corporate greed. They will blame supply chain issues. They will blame the war in Ukraine. They will blame anything and everything except the real cause: the deliberate destruction of our own currency by our own government and our own central bank. They are telling you that inflation is coming down, that the economy is strong. It is a lie. They are manipulating the numbers. They are changing the way inflation is calculated to hide the truth. The truth is that your cost of living is soaring. The truth is that you are getting poorer. The dollar is not dying, it is being murdered, and the culprits are in power. They are sacrificing your financial future to maintain their power. They are printing money to fund their wars and their social spending programs, and they are counting on you not to notice until it's too late. The collapse of the dollar will not be televised. It will be a slow erosion followed by a sudden panic. One day, you will wake up and find that your money is worth half of what it was the day before, and by then, it will be too late to do anything about it. Don't let them fool you. The dollar is broken. The system is rigged. And if you don't prepare now, you will be one of its victims. The shift away from the dollar isn't just a financial story. It's a geopolitical earthquake. For over 70 years, the world has operated on a system where America writes the rules. Our military might and our economic might were two sides of the same coin. The dollar's dominance allowed us to fund a global military presence, to project power, and to enforce our will. The end of the dollar's reign is the end of the American empire. Think about the implications. Countries will no longer need to hold trillions of dollars in reserve to buy oil or to trade. Those trillions of dollars will come flooding back to the United States, chasing a limited supply of goods and services. This is the definition of hyperinflation. It's a tsunami of money that will overwhelm our economy and destroy the savings of a generation. And what happens when we can no longer pay for our imports by printing money? We will have to actually produce things. We will have to export. We will have to compete on a level playing field for the first time in almost a century. The transition will be brutal. It will mean a lower standard of living for most Americans. It will mean a painful reckoning with decades of living beyond our means. The media and the political establishment are silent on this because they are complicit. They are the beneficiaries of the current system. They have gotten rich and powerful from the dollar's exorbitant privilege. They will do everything they can to maintain the illusion, to kick the can down the road, to keep the party going for as long as possible. They will tell you that the BRICS are a joke, that their alternative system will never work, that the dollar is still the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket. But the writing is on the wall. The de-dollarization trend is undeniable, and it is accelerating. It is not being driven by our enemies, but by our former friends. Countries that are tired of being subject to our whims. Countries that are tired of funding our deficits. Countries that are seeking a more multipolar, more balanced world order. This is not about patriotism. This is not about cheering for America's downfall. This is about facing reality. It's about understanding the profound and irreversible shift that is happening in the global balance of power. It's about protecting yourself and your family from the inevitable fallout. While the politicians are arguing about pronouns and the media is obsessing over the latest celebrity gossip, the tectonic plates of the global financial system are shifting beneath our feet. And when the earthquake hits, it will be sudden and it will be devastating. The dollar's collapse is not a black swan event, it is a grey rhino. A large, obvious, and dangerous threat that is charging right at us, and yet we are being told to ignore it, to look the other way, to pretend that everything is fine. Everything is not fine. The dollar is broken, the empire is crumbling, and a new world order is being born. You can either be a victim of this transition, or you can be a student of it. You can either cling to the sinking ship of the dollar, or you can start building your own lifeboat. The choice is yours. But the time to choose is running out. Let's be clear. This is not a natural process. This is a controlled demolition. The architects of our financial system know exactly what they are doing. They are intentionally devaluing the dollar to manage the unmanageable debt burden. They are sacrificing the purchasing power of the middle class to keep the government solvent and the banking system afloat. It is the largest transfer of wealth in human history, happening in slow motion right before our eyes. They use sophisticated language to disguise their actions. They talk about yield curve control, quantitative easing, and managing inflation expectations. It's all a smokescreen. The reality is simple. They are printing money. And when you print money, you devalue the money that is already in existence. It is a hidden tax, a tax that you never voted for, a tax that disproportionately punishes the poor and the middle class, the savers, the prudent. The rich don't mind. Their wealth is not in dollars. It's in assets, stocks, real estate, art, that inflate in value as the currency is debased. This process has been accelerating since 1971, when President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. That was the moment the dollar became a pure fiat currency, backed by nothing but the full faith and credit of the United States government. For 50 years, that faith was enough. The world trusted us. They trusted our institutions. They trusted our rule of law. But that trust has been shattered. Decades of reckless spending, endless wars, and political dysfunction have eroded that faith to the breaking point. The weaponization of the dollar was the final straw. When we froze Russia's foreign currency reserves, we sent a message to the rest of the world. The dollar is not a neutral asset. It is a political weapon. And if you fall out of favor with the United States, your wealth can be confiscated at a moment's notice. This single act did more to accelerate de-dollarization than anything else. It forced countries to realize that their economic sovereignty was at risk. It forced them to seek out alternatives, and they are finding them. The rise of the BRICS is not just about economics. It's about a fundamental shift in the global order. It is a rejection of a unipolar world dominated by the United States. It is a declaration of independence from the dollar system. And it is happening much faster than anyone in Washington or on Wall Street is willing to admit. So what does the end game look like? It will not be a single event. It will be a series of cascading crises. A currency crisis, as the dollar loses its value. A sovereign debt crisis, as the US government struggles to finance its deficits. A banking crisis, as the banks that are stuffed with government bonds see their assets plummet in value. And a social crisis, as the population wakes up to the fact that their savings have been wiped out. This is not a prediction, it is a warning. It is a warning based on history. Every fiat currency in history has eventually returned to its intrinsic value, zero. The US dollar is not different. It is not exempt from the laws of economics. The only question is the timing. And the signs are all pointing to the fact that the end is much closer than we think. This is not the time for denial. This is not the time for complacency. This is the time for action. It is time to educate yourself. It is time to diversify your assets. It is time to build a resilient and self-sufficient life. The storm is coming, and it will not spare those who are unprepared. Let's consider the psychological impact of this. For generations, Americans have been conditioned to believe in the supremacy of the dollar. It's the bedrock of our financial identity. The end of the dollar's reign will not just be an economic event. It will be a profound psychological blow. It will be a national identity crisis. The realization that we are no longer the undisputed leader of the world, that we are no longer the richest and most powerful nation on earth, will be a bitter pill to swallow, and it will be accompanied by a massive loss of social cohesion. When a currency collapses, the social fabric tears apart. The trust that binds society together evaporates. People will blame each other. They will blame immigrants. They will blame the rich. They will blame the poor. The political polarization that we are already experiencing will be magnified 100-fold. It is a recipe for civil unrest, for extremism, for violence. The establishment knows this. They are not stupid. They see the same writing on the wall. But they are trapped. They are trapped by their own ideology, by their own short-term political calculations, by their own hubris. They cannot admit that the system they have built is a failure. They cannot admit that they have led us down a path to ruin. And so they will do what all failing regimes do. They will double down. They will print more money. They will impose more controls. They will use the crisis as an excuse to seize more power. This is the great danger that we face. The danger that the collapse of the dollar will not lead to a renewal of freedom and sound money, but to a new era of authoritarianism. The danger that they will use the chaos they have created to usher in a system of total control, a system of central bank digital currencies, of digital IDs, of social credit scores, a system where your financial life is completely transparent and completely controlled by the state. This is the battle of our lifetime. The battle between centralization and decentralization, between freedom and control, between sound money and fiat money. The collapse of the dollar is the opening salvo in this battle, and the outcome is not yet decided. It will be decided by you. It will be decided by the choices you make in the coming months and years, the choice to educate yourself, the choice to take control of your own finances, the choice to build resilient communities, the choice to reject the narrative of fear and division that they will try to sell you. The dollar is broken. The American empire is over. But this is not the end of the story. It is the end of a chapter, and the beginning of a new one. A chapter that we, the people, have the power to write. It will not be easy. It will be a time of great trial and great tribulation, but it will also be a time of great opportunity, the opportunity to build a more just, a more free and a more prosperous world, a world based not on the shifting sands of fiat currency, but on the solid rock of sound money and individual liberty.